Hello everyone, this is Derek Smith from Comprehensive Credit Repair with your next credit repair tips. And today I'm going to talk about credit success and where to start. So after you get rid of the negative information on your credit report, you're going to need to show positive credit. You cannot achieve a high credit score without positive credit. Neither can you get approved for a home loan without positive credit. Accordingly, I'm going to give you some directions for taking this next important step. I recommend you take this list, and after you listen to this video, write a nice big X on the numbers of the items you're already doing. Circle the numbers of the items you need to do, and then get to work on the rest of them. Go back and review this list at least once a month. Put it on your calendar so you don't forget. When a circle item is completed, X it out. There's a lot of satisfaction from seeing your progress with the big X's on it. So let's get into my essential list for credit success. Number one is establish credit in your own name. Married people do not share credit score, and you do not inherit your spouse's credit when you marry. You must have accounts with your own name on them in order to get points for your own credit score. They may be individual accounts or joint accounts. If you're young and starting out, you can be an authorized user on a parent's account to help get established, but you must get credit in your own name alone ASAP. You want a minimum of 3 accounts to get approved to buy a home, and you only have to be 18 years old to become a homeowner, so don't delay. FHA requires 2 accounts, but conventional loans, which are better than FHA, require 3 accounts. It takes 6 months from the time you open your first account to have a credit score. You need established credit for important things such as qualifying to rent an apartment, financing an automobile, getting a discount on auto insurance, and buying a house or a condominium. Number 2 is keep your accounts open. You want to establish old credit. Your age is not a factor in credit, but the age of your account is a factor. You receive more points for longevity. Closing a credit card could hurt your credit score because it affects your debt to available credit ratio. For example, if you owe a total credit card debt of $10,000 and your total credit available is $20,000, you will be using 50% of your total available credit. If you close a credit card with a $5,000 limit, you will reduce your available credit from $20,000 to $15,000 and change your ratio from 50% to 66%. This debt ratio increase will cause your score to go down. Number 3 is use your credit card at least twice a year to keep it active. If you have a credit card you haven't used in years, you aren't receiving the good points from it that you could be. In fact, it could actually hurt you because the credit card system thinks you might be getting ready to max out the card. But when you use the card for a minimal purchase 2 or 3 times a year, the system thinks you will not run up a sudden balance because your history shows you use it minimally. Consequently, you receive more points to your score. Number 4 is pay off past credit cards that are not charge-offs or collections. If you are late paying a bill, you want to get caught up immediately. On the other hand, if the account has already been transferred to collections or if it has become a charge-off, do not pay it off if it is older than 24 months. Why? Because old collections and charge-offs do not dock your credit score as severely. And if you suddenly pay on the old derogatory account, you will update the date of last activity and cause your score to go down more. This isn't fair, but it is the way the system is set up. So we have to play the game accordingly. Only pay off the old charge-off or collection after you get the agreement in writing that the creditor remove it when they receive payment. Verbal agreements don't count. Get it in writing. Go see my old video about that. Number 5 is make sure your credit card accounts report the maximum limit. This is important, but it's something not a lot of people are aware of. If your credit card does not show what the limit is on your credit report, American Express is famous for this, then the scoring system assumes you are maxed out and lowers your credit score. If you don't see the limit on your report, call the creditor and ask for it to be reported at once. If they say no, pay off the account to a 0 balance and let it sit unused. That way you will receive longevity points but won't be penalized for having a high balance to limit ratio. Don't be in a hurry to close the account. Let it sit open with a 0 balance. Number 6, set up a system for paying bills on time. You cannot change the past, but you can control what you do going forward. The credit system places the most emphasis on recent information. For example, a late payment 1 month ago docks more points than a late payment made a year ago. Therefore, time does gradually heal bad credit. Every month that passes helps, so be encouraged. Pay your bills as soon as they arrive. There is no advantage to procrastination. If you don't have the funds to pay the entire bill as soon as it comes, that is an indication that you're living beyond your means. Therefore, you need to reduce spending and restructure your budget. I recommend setting up automatic payment. That way you don't have to worry about being late if a storm causes a delay in the mail delivery or something like that. If you tend to set aside bills, or if you have ever lost a bill, then auto pay is for you. Set it up today. Number 7, use only one form of your name on all your credit accounts. Established stability reduces confusion. With 300 million people in the U.S., there are likely to be other people with your name. If you use 5 forms of your name, you can multiply your chances of being confused with another person. And if that person happens to have late payments, unpaid taxes, judgments, or liens, the last thing you want is to be mixed up with that person's credit. Number 8, order a free copy of your credit report once a year. Use this free report to check for accuracy and to guard against identity theft. The only way I recommend obtaining your report is in writing from Annual Credit Report Request Service at P.O. Box 105281, Atlanta, Georgia 30348. Number 9, pay your rent on time. New laws will require landlords to report rent to the credit bureaus. That is good news. It has been frustrating for people who rent not to receive credit for their on-time rent payments, and I agree. Rent is an important factor in determining how a person will pay their mortgage, so it should be included on the credit report. In the meantime, lenders always have and will continue to request a verification of your rent payment history from your landlord or your property manager. Number 10, make your mortgage first priority. Mortgage payment history is far more important than any other account when you go to refinance or buy another home. Don't make the mistake of taking turns paying your mortgage one month and your other bills the next month. Always protect the roof you sleep under and your precious home equity by paying your mortgage first, every month and on time. Number 11, do not take out a loan with a finance company. Having a finance company on your credit report could lower your score, even if all the payments are made on time. This is because finance companies are considered to be hard money lenders. A hard money lender is a company that will lend to people who are hard up for cash or cannot qualify for a good loan elsewhere. Beware of furniture and window replacement companies that use a finance company. The same goes for financing a computer or other major items. Note, most automobile finance companies are not in this category, although I can think of at least one hard money car seller that advertises on television that they finance anybody regardless of credit. Ask what company they set up financing with, and if it's a finance company, then you're better off setting up your own financing through your bank or your credit union. Number 12, do have 2 to 3 major credit cards. A major credit card is one you can use anywhere, not only at a specific store. Visa, MasterCard, and Discover are major credit cards. Having one credit card is insufficient. You want 3 trade lines to show on your credit report. 2 could be credit cards, and the third could be an auto loan, student loan, or an installment loan. If you have 3 credit cards, there's no need to apply for more. Having too many credit cards will lower your score. Having more than 6 is just plain foolish in my opinion. There's no need to have a whole pile of individual store cards, and too much credit hurts your score because of the potential debt. If you already have more than 3 cards and those cards are more than 3 years old, keep them because you are receiving points for longevity. You can still achieve an 800 score with more than 3 long-standing cards. If you have 10 or more cards, close a few of them that are the newest and least used. Ask that they be closed by, and I quote, consumer requests, so it doesn't look like the creditor shut you down. Number 13, pay your credit card balances before paying extra on your auto or installment loans. This strategy will give you a better score. What's more, the interest rate is usually higher on credit cards, so you don't want to carry a balance from month to month. It is a waste of your hard-earned money to pay interest, and it does not help your score to carry a balance. In fact, the opposite is true. If you pay your balance in full every month, you earn more points for doing so. To top it off, credit card interest is not tax deductible, making it a ridiculous waste of your money. Number 14, keep your credit card balances below 30% of the limit at all times. This is a very important strategy for gaining A+ credit rating. If your balance to limit ratio is higher, points will be deducted, even if all your payments are on time. And get this, if your balance to limit ratio is even $1 over 50%, you will get even more points docked off your score. Therefore, it is better to have several accounts with small balances than 2 accounts with high balances. Number 15, refuse offers to open a new account in order to save 10% on your purchase. Opening several new credit cards could lower your score by as much as 50 points. So don't fall prey to enticements from cashiers to open credit. The small upfront savings is not worth the hit to your credit score. I've seen people get denied for a home loan because they had too many store credit cards. You don't need a stack of individual store cards when you can use Visa or MasterCard pretty much everywhere. Number 16, don't carry a lot of debt even if you are wealthy and can afford it. This is a mistake I often see on credit reports of dentists, physicians, attorneys, and successful entrepreneurs. Remember, it is illegal to consider income in credit scoring. Therefore, people with high incomes who can easily afford to carry a lot of debt are penalized on their scores if they carry a lot of debt, just as for people with modest incomes. Number 17, if you had a bankruptcy, check your credit for accuracy. The vast majority of credit reports are incorrect for people who had a bankruptcy. Typically, accounts that were included in the bankruptcy still report as open. This hurts your credit, so follow up is necessary to get those removed or reported as closed if you're not trying to have the bankruptcy deleted. Number 18, if you had a bankruptcy, reestablish credit but avoid debt. After a bankruptcy, make sure you have some open, good credit. If all your accounts were discharged, you may need to apply for a couple secure credit cards to reestablish credit. But please resist the temptation to acquire new debt as an excuse for reestablishing your credit. This is not the time to take on an expensive auto loan that you don't need or can't afford. Number 19, if you're a shopaholic, take steps to break free. Many people are obsessive compulsive about shopping. They like to joke and call it retail therapy, but it is no laughing matter. Eventually, debt grabs you by the throat and chokes all the fun out of your life. You end up working for your bills rather than for yourself, and that is no way to enjoy an abundant life. I'm going to give you some signs and symptoms of compulsive spending. These were recognized by Illinois Institute for Addiction Recovery. First, shopping or spending money as a result of being disappointed, angry, or scared. Next, shopping or spending habits causing emotional distress or chaos in your life. Next is having arguments with others regarding shopping or spending habits. Next is feeling lost without credit cards. Next is buying items on credit that you would not buy with cash. Next is spending money gives you a rush of euphoria and anxiety at the same time. Next is spending or shopping feels like a reckless or forbidden act. Next is you feel guilty, ashamed, embarrassed, or confused after shopping. Next is many of your purchases go unused. Next is lying to others about what you bought or how much money you spent. Next is thinking excessively about money. And last is spending a lot of time juggling accounts and bills to accommodate spending. If some or all these strike a chord, grab onto hope. Acknowledgement is the first step to your recovery. Go back, practice self-talk daily, throughout the entire day if need be. When you are tempted to soothe your stress or reward yourself by making a purchase, say to yourself, I choose to be free from shopping addiction, and other positive statements that empower you to break free. Say no to using your credit card like cocaine. Invent other ways of filling the void. Write out your ideas and have the list handy. Here are some ideas I have for you to get you started. Go for a walk or run instead. Call a friend. Play tennis or other sports. Listen to music. Knit or crochet. Garden. Read an engrossing book. Write in a journal. Even pray if you have to. If you have other good ideas, hey, I'd love to hear about them. There are many inspirational books on breaking free of debt, such as those by Susie Orman, the respected financial advisor who was once a waitress deep in debt, as well as books by Mary Hunt, who pulled herself out of being $100,000 in debt. In addition, there's a good selection of self-help books available at places like Amazon and Barnes & Noble and ChristianBooks.com or some of your other favorite booksellers. Search for compulsive spending. Another option is to explore the self-hypnosis CDs or downloads on overcoming compulsive spending that you can find online. Why not create a chart for getting out of debt? Track your progress and watch yourself get closer and closer to your goal. Get excited about changing your life. Others have done it and you can do it too. The great apostle Peter wrote, by what a man is overcome, to this he is enslaved. If you have been enslaved by a shopping habit, you can break free. Let's look at where to start your credit journey. Hopefully by now you have a good idea how to proceed with your credit journey because I've given you some tips. But if you feel like you want one more verification, here's my general plan that you will need to adopt for yourself. I will list some highlights here. There are details in the various videos that I have on my channel. Number 1 is order your credit report. And I have a video on how you can do that. Number 2 is make sure you have 3 lines of good credit. If after you clear off all your bad credit, you have nothing left, you need to start building 3 lines of credit for 6 months so that you have a good score. Do that now. You can build good credit simultaneously with removing bad credit. Number 3 is delete old addresses that are tied to bad credit, and I have a video on how to do that. Number 4 is if you have defaulted student loans, start your loan rehabilitation program as soon as possible because it takes 9 months to complete. Number 5 is start disputing negative credit with the easiest to remove first. That would be medical accounts that are now paid off, old paid off collections, and charge-offs. And I have a recent video on how to remove collections and charge-offs. Number 6 is dispute 90-day late payments. Then after that, success, 60-day lates, and then so on. Number 7 is if you had a bankruptcy, follow the instructions in my video on how to deal with bankruptcies. Number 8, save the most difficult derogatory credit for last. Why? Because it would be easier to have deleted if everything else on your credit report now looks good and you have positive credit going on. The most difficult items are public records, foreclosures, mortgage lates, and very recent late payments that really happen. Number 9 is delete extra excessive forms of your name for fine tuning. This is not a priority, but if you want to do it sooner in the process, I have no objection. It's just that deleting extra names is not going to change your score much when you have serious negative credit showing. And finally, number 10 is delete unauthorized hard inquiries, and I have a video specifically on how to do that. Let me give you a pro secret for getting credit repair done faster. Let's say you want to dispute a late payment with Visa, MasterCard, Target, Chevron, and Sears. That's 5 companies to dispute with. You know you can't dispute them all at once or the credit bureau won't believe you and will deny them all and flag your file for frivolous claims. You know that you can dispute 2 at once, but that's going to take quite a long time. Here's how you can speed up the process. Send a dispute for Visa to Experian, send a dispute for MasterCard and Target to Equifax, and send a dispute for Chevron and Sears to TransUnion. That way you tackle all 5 at once. Then after one round of success, dispute with the next credit bureau. When you get down to only 1 bureau left, add a sentence to your dispute. Let's say the Visa late has been deleted with Experian and Equifax. Send a dispute to TransUnion and add this. Both Experian and Equifax have completed their investigations and have removed this erroneous late payment. Boom, they should delete it with no argument. In this way, you repair your credit faster, and the last round becomes easier as well. I think this one thing alone is worth this entire video. Look, fixing your credit is difficult, and I'm a pro at it, and I can do it for you. If you want some help with your credit or want to learn more, go over to www.comprehensivecreditrepair.com. Also, while you're there, check out my video on the free vacation you get when you sign up for my service. Again, it's www.comprehensivecreditrepair.com. I'll see you in the next video.